broken child or a frightened teen, an empty place inside where hope might have been. A bully's scorn, a crowd that hates, no one to turn to now, it's far too late. Actions taken, never justified. It doesn't matter how many tears are cried. Redemption over, forgiveness denied. The person you tortured chose death over life. You took advantage of a damaged soul, destruction of innocence, an empty goal. You never thought that my child's fragile heart would cease to beat forever once you did your part. Don't ask for forgiveness, it's not mine to give. You took my child's life, it's unfair that you still live. All I have are memories, the potential gone too soon. You're tied to me forever by a thread I'd rather burn. My child was dearly loved, their memory remains. You may have been the one who made them break beneath the pain, but the fight against bullycide grows stronger every day, and your name, unimportant now, will slowly fade away. Hello everyone, welcome to eveRIAthing. I hope you all had a beautiful week. First of all, I'd like to say thank you so much to Miss Corinne Johnston for sharing that lovely poem that I just read earlier on the show. I think that it was very beautiful and powerful with a very strong message, so thank you so much. Together we will all stay strong. Today we are lighting up the world purple in support of mental health awareness. As of our recent update, cities and buildings will be lighting up their places purple on October 10th to help promote Amanda Todd's legacy to promote open discussions about the mental health illnesses. This will also help towards raising awareness against cyberbullying and exploitation. Now, as for our part, eveRIAthing is going to be doing 2 episodes for this as well, and I think that it's going to be very, very important, and I think that this is going to be another way that we can help save lives. Cyberbullying has caused very severe anxiety and has also taken so many lives. The thing with this is that it's not only taken regular lives, but the lives of so many young people all around the world, and I think that now is really a time that everyone in the world has to step in because enough is enough. Today we have a very special guest with us, and we are very honored to have her here despite her busy schedule. She is an amazing, inspirational, and passionate woman who is also the mother of Amanda Todd, who unfortunately we lost October 10th, 2012, which also happens to be Mental Health Awareness Day. Now we feel so very privileged to have Miss Carol Todd here with us today because I think that with her help and with all of your help as well, we can help to make the world a better place. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with me to the show Miss Carol Todd. Hi Carol, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks, and thanks for having me on your show.
Thank you for coming, it really does mean a lot. Now, I know that you have a very, very busy schedule, and I know that you're actually going on a flight soon, so it really means a lot to me that you're here, especially to help with all the kids out there too.
You know what, that's exactly what Amanda's legacy does.
Now, I know that this issue is a very, very big one in the world, and I feel as if sometimes it's not talked about enough. And it's also very close to my heart because I grew up bullied, and until this very day, I am still bullied. And so speaking with you in person really means a lot to me because as a victim of bullying, I feel like I can get some questions answered for myself. It really inspires me as well to pursue Amanda's legacy because I can see that when we can all join together, we can all help one another. And now that we are all working together, I know that as someone who did go through bullying, it's very hard when you don't know who to turn to or who to talk to. And I think the most important thing is working together and knowing that you are not alone in this world. So I hope that from today, everyone else out there will also feel inspired. And to everyone else out there as well, I want to notify all of you guys to wear purple on October 10th. If you have purple lights in your house, decorate your house with purple lights and really go all out to help and raise awareness for mental health. Now, I was wondering If Amanda was here today, what do you think is something that she would tell other bully victims to stay strong?
I think that she would tell people that you have to be able to communicate and talk with others. And then that's the whole reason about like mental health is a very stigmatized issue, and people don't want to talk about it or share about it. And even victims or people who have been targeted for bullying and cyberbullying, they don't want to talk about it either, because they don't want to have people think that they are any weaker, right? So I know that when Amanda was going through this stuff, she wanted people to share things with that understood. And that's the problem we have out there, is how do you find people that know what you're feeling and why you're feeling it when no one's really talking about it. So that's why we continue to make sure that, you know, there are people out there to talk to, and that it's okay to talk, right?
For sure, yeah. As someone who is still struggling with things like that now, and even anxiety, it can be very hard to open up, but
yeah, and it could be your peers, or it could be someone like a teacher or someone who you trust. It has to be someone trusted and someone you feel safe with. It could be a family member, it could be an aunt, it could be the parent of a good friend of yours, just someone out there that you can reach out to and talk, and maybe be the bridge to get the additional help that you might need.
For sure.
Right?
I mean, it's definitely one thing for someone to want to help others, but it's another thing for them to really understand.
Yes.
And I think that's what is most important, is actually listening and trying to see where another person is coming from as well. Now, what do you think is the biggest reason for all the negativity in youth today?
I think that when you have people who bully online and offline, they're looking for something that makes them feel important and feel strong. Unfortunately, it's a negative way that they're getting attention that way. And so the trick is to disempower and not engage with the people who are bullying. I think that sometimes the television shows that are on TV, the videos we watch, they all don't help certain issues that the kids have. Instead of, we watch Mean Girls and we watch Jersey Shore, we should be taking the lessons, we should be looking at the scenarios and thinking about what's right and what's wrong and what's kind and what's not kind. And we shouldn't be copying them to feel important for ourselves. Instead, we should be saying, that's so wrong, putting down people and making them feel less of themselves is not something that is needed. And so also, we watch ads, the commercials on TV and the commercials they play on YouTube. They have a big effect on how kids and how people think of themselves. And when we think that bullying and cyberbullying only happen to youth, we're so wrong in that, because it happens in the adult world, in the young adult world and in the adult world too. But with kids and youth, this is the time to teach them on how to respond or how not to respond.
Exactly. I think that's actually a very, very important message, because sometimes with the negativity, we only notice the negativity and we don't notice that there are things that we can do to help as well. I was just thinking now actually that if society and media can affect us in a way that we absorb everything negative, it can also help us to absorb everything positive.
Well, I've always said that when we talk about bullying and cyberbullying, and those are to me the negative effects, right? We should be focusing a lot on the positive effects, and that's about teaching about kindness and respect. And we can do that at such an early age in such a simple format every year. And if it was ingrained in us, then maybe we wouldn't feel the need to bully others and to be not very nice and nasty and say hurtful things. Because when our kids are born, and probably your mom did this with you, they taught you how to say please and thank you, right?
Yeah.
In the Cheerio phase. And so if we could keep that up all the way to whenever, it would definitely make that change. And it would be so simplistic. It's like we don't teach you how to, we don't let our kids drive without learning, like getting going through the tests and practicing and taking driving lessons, right? And so it's the same thing. We have to keep making sure our kids have learned how to behave.
For sure. Now, aside from that, what do you think is the scariest part about going through a mental health illness?
Not getting the right supports, I think. I think a lot of people that have mental health issues and related illnesses feel that no one understands them.
Yeah.
And they have no one to talk to. And sometimes, you know what, the wait lists are so long, and that's why the government is, people are pushing the governments to add funding for more supports. But they really feel, those suffering really feel lost in that whole world. And yeah, you can get private health care, but sometimes that costs money. You can wait for public health care, but sometimes there's a waiting list. And you know what, if I'm sitting here and I'm suffering right now, I can't wait 6 months.
Yeah.
And so those are the barriers. But I know that as we continue to promote Mental Health Day and mental health awareness, more and more people that are suffering the effects are stepping up to ask for help. And then the people that are out there helping, they're putting more advertisement out there for people to call.
I'm here to talk to you about a very serious issue, dealing with mental illness. Mental illness is something that we've kept quiet for too long. Unfortunately, there's a stigma about mental illness that says this is a problem. We don't want to talk about it and we don't want to look at it. Unfortunately, mental illness is everywhere. There's so many people that have it, and it's something that I think we need to start talking about it. I think we need to talk about it openly and be able to fully communicate this to each other, because at the end of the day, if we don't know where to go or who to talk to, we're just going to be by ourselves. And that's not where you should be if you're suffering from mental illness. I want you to know that there's plenty of resources out there for you to communicate your problems. If you want to talk to your parents, your friends, administrators at your school, you can feel free to contact me if you need to. If you feel completely alone, there's always somebody there for you. I promise you that. I believe that we can make a major difference in terms of mental illness and what we can do to change the viewpoint of how we see this. I think that in doing so, if we can save at least one person, then it's worth it. So why don't we speak out about this brutal, unfortunate illness and make a difference? Thank you.
Hey everyone, welcome back to eveRIAthing. Once again, we are here today with Miss Carol Todd, and I was wondering, what do you think is the most important thing that everyone out there in the world should know about mental health issues?
One of the most important things is that they're not alone, and that they are never alone to go through what they're feeling, and there's always someone out there. Sometimes it's harder to find the person that's out there, but you have to reach out, and you can't do it alone. Yeah. So you reach out to someone who can help you find the help you need. And that's the same for adults, and that's the same for youth. It's such a hard, when you're going through mental health stresses, it feels like you're on this boat alone, and no one can help you, and no one can possibly know what you're feeling, but they aren't alone. There's so many other people feeling the same way. And that's why we need to talk about it more.
For sure, it can be very scary when you're
It's nothing that anyone should make fun of someone else for either, right?
Yeah.
And that's what happens, is that you have labels put on people. You know, they become crazy, or they become psycho, or they get compared to some of the mass murderers because that's what they say is mental illness, but it's not. There's all sorts of degrees of mental illness.
Exactly. I think something that's tough is that in our world today, some people, they just jump to their own conclusions, but I like to think that before you judge someone else for the rest of their lives, take the time to welcome them into yours. And
for sure.
Just understand who they are and where they're coming from as well. For the young people out there, what do you think is something that young people can do if they feel like they are affected by something?
If you're a young person, you're in school, your school has support staff, you have counselors and you have teachers, you can go to them for help. My main thing is don't do it alone. You can't, if you're struggling with something, don't try and fix it by yourself, because you probably won't be able to. You need, if you're a young person, you probably need an adult to help you. Because if you're 15 and you try and get your 15-year-old friend to help you, I don't know if your 15-year-old friend will have the right places to go and the right people to talk to in a young person's network, right? So you always need to get some adult care.
For sure. I think another thing too, for of course youth out there who are scared, it's okay to be sad. It's okay that you feel scared, but it's better and even more okay to talk to someone about it, because if you bottle it up inside, it's just gonna get worse. So I think that's really the most important thing. It's just, even if it's at school, at home, or someone else, just open up about what you have to talk about. And I hope too that this episode and other things as well with Light Up Purple will help and make everyone else realize that mental health is something that needs to be talked about. And I hope that in the future as well, there will be, of course, less teen suicides, less suicides in general. I want to know, where do you hope to see the world in 10 years with mental health?
That there would be an open topic of conversation, that it would be easily talked about, just like we talk about cancer and we talk about other illnesses, because just because it's part of your brain doesn't mean we can't talk about it. It's another body part. And so just having the conversations, and I think over the last couple of years, we have more people talking about it. Clara Hughes just did her bike ride, and that was about mental health issues, right? And we have other big companies stepping up to talk about it and make it part of their forefront, right? So like Bell, Shaw, Rogers, TELUS, everyone's taking a piece of it, and that's what's important. We can't just say, you know what, they're talking about it, we're leaving it alone. Everybody has to be involved. And so it's a global problem. It's not just a one city problem. It belongs to all of us, as you said.
Exactly.
So
now when I see purple, I think of hope. But I think that's something that screams the color, and I think that it's very soothing.
Well, it's a color of royalty, and we're all important.
There you go. I think that's very important to tell people as well. That's really beautiful. Thank you. And I feel that sometimes expectations in society can play a very big role in a lot of times when kids are bullied or when they have anxiety. What do you think is the thing about the pressure from society that affects teens so much?
You know, I've talked to a lot of teens about what kind of stresses they may have. And as adults, we look at teens and say, how can a teenager, a young person, have stress? They live at home, they have the best technology out there. You see teens with, cars and all this stuff. But what young people are concerned about is what they're going to do when they're finished their safety net of school. And it's hard to get a job, or what kind of career. And funny enough, the technology now is stressing kids out, right? What they post on social media, because what you post out there stays there forever. And funny enough, that kids need to know that if you're posting things and it doesn't go away, you have to think about your future goals. And so, do you want what you post today to affect your ability to get a job interview, to affect your getting a scholarship into school, into getting into university or college? And so all those things you have to think of, but all those things also are stressors. It's almost like you can't, you try and stay away from it, but you can't. So those are the guidelines. And things are so expensive these days, right? And then the peer pressure of how to act, how to dress, how do you be cool, how do you be popular, or boyfriend, girlfriend relationships, connecting with the right people. Those are all things that they worry about too.
Yeah, there's definitely, I think, a lot of pressure to fit a certain mold. And I was saying that to my mom earlier. It's so weird because we live in a world where perfection technically isn't really something that should exist, but at the same time, the hypocrisy is that everyone expects you to be perfect. And it's okay not to be perfect, because nobody is. And I think that's what's so hard for us teens, is that we keep telling ourselves that we're not good enough. And I think that's why the stigma is so strong with us, right?
It's about little flaws. So if you see a flaw, you think you're tarnished. And if other people see a flaw, they're the first ones to post it somewhere so that other people, it's not like one person sees something negative and just keeps it to themselves. They post it on their social media, which can go out to 1,000 people, and then you hit like and share, and it goes out to another 1,000 per the 1,000. So if you know your math, it can be detrimental really fast. And so that's why I do the snowflake logo on Amanda's legacy, because everyone is unique and individual, and everyone's fragile and strong at the same time. And those are all descriptions of what snowflakes are. And so if everyone is a snowflake, then everyone deserves to be treated well.
It is beautiful. And for you guys that are watching, in case you were wondering, this necklace is actually from Carol, and it is a snowflake. And is there any way that people out that are watching can also get a necklace?
Yep, they're on the AmandaToddLegacy.org website, and you can see everything that we have there, and you just, you can
There's
email.
There's also the bracelets as well. Yeah,
it's
really
all
cute.
It's all there, and it's all about awareness, right?
For sure. Thank you so much,
You're welcome.
Thank you. What message do you have out there to give to the bullies, the bullying victims, and the bystanders?
To the bystanders, you need to be proactive, and you need to support the victims, the targeted people. For the bullies, you need to look at yourselves and what you're doing to others. Would you want that to be done to you? Now, however, there are also research shows that people who bully, there's something going on in their lives also. And I think that everyone needs the help, and everyone needs the love, and everyone needs the support. But certainly that if you see someone who is showing those negative behaviors of bullying, they need to be told by someone that they're doing this and to stop. What we don't understand is the negative impact it has on an individual. As a snowflake, we're all fragile, right? And you could get 99 comments about how pretty you are, and you can get one saying that you're fat and ugly. Which one will you remember, unfortunately?
Yeah.
And so we have to educate and teach people that you have to try and throw the negative one away. And so we teach, there's visualization skills where you see those ugly words in a post-it note, or you can write them down, you crumble it up and you throw it away. And so what happens sometimes with people who are abused is that I say it in comparison of a garbage bag, and sometimes all the negative stuff gets too full, and when it gets too full, we have to find a place to dump it.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately why we don't want kids and adults to think that the answer is taking their life, because it's not. It's never the answer. There's always places that you can go for help and support. And there's media out there that correlate bullying and cyberbullying to suicide, but they're forgetting that in the middle there's the mental health piece. That is the opportunity to fix and to get better. There isn't always that end result, and there should never be the end result, and that's what we need to always remember and work on. And that's why we're here.
Exactly, that's why we're here.
Mm-hmm.
All about working on helping each other and helping ourselves, for sure.
Yeah.
Now, I'm also wondering where we can contact you and find out more about the legacy, and just in general, find out more.
AmandaToddLegacy.org, and on it there will be a contact email that comes to the legacy, and then there'll be someone at the other end to answer questions, and there's a whole bunch of we're building up the website for resources and articles and stories, and so just different things. There's a part where you can share your story if you've got a story to share. And one day, we hope to maybe compile some stories together and put it in some form for everyone to read. Because there are really good stories out there, right? There are so many happy stories. There's some sad stories, but we try and get help for the people that are needing more help.
For sure.
If I could, you know what, if Amanda's legacy, I said the day after she died, if it could help one person, that would be all that I would need, but I think that it's gone beyond that now.
Yeah.
I think we've helped a lot more, and that would be her message. Her message was the dream of helping kids, and that's to make sure kids are safe.
It's beautiful, and you being here actually just like, I'm just so inspired right now, and it's amazing having you here. I know that Amanda is so proud of you right now. As a recent advocate actually of mental health awareness, I want to just quickly say a message to all of you guys watching. You guys have to take part in this and tell everyone you know that this is a cause that does need to be discussed and does need to be helped. So if you see someone in the hallway, just give them a smile, because you never know what they're going through. I think that is an important piece of advice I can give you guys. And once again, before you judge anyone for the rest of their lives, take the time to welcome them into yours. Now, quickly before you go, by the way, thank you so much once again for coming here. It
You're
really
welcome.
means a lot.